Hey you, so on this video, can silver ever be worth more than gold? I'm going to be going over just that, so if you like what you hear /see and you haven't done so already, please do go ahead and subscribe. And also let me know what you think, whether you believe silver can actually surpass gold to go on to be the more valuable one, or you believe it's the case right now, and whichever reasons is holding that back. So this is just going to be a little countdown. I'd say 5 things as to why I do or don't believe it, and nothing technical or big. It's just me going about doodling out in open. So just my own thoughts and opinions here, but please do let me know yours, whether you believe silver can never be worth more than gold. Currently right now, gold holds the position as number 1. It's the one in terms of wealth. I think it has a track record of that, and it's just generally known as the more expensive metal, the worthy metal, the better metal, number 1, and silver is number 1, number 2. So first, I would say give a couple of rundowns. Once again, nothing even just out there. So I would say in silver's favor, I would say it has more uses than gold. As we all know, it has the big badge of being an industrial metal. So we could go on for a little while as to the uses. It definitely serves more of a purpose. People have recently been bringing up graphene and dark tech and a lot of other things that could come along, but let's just focus on what we've got right here and right now. And I would say for all of the uses that silver has, even in the medical field, automotive, energy, it still hasn't done nothing to give it that edge over silver. I think there's going to be more and more uses that will come along, and I think it's currently has the purpose and position that it has because it is what it is. Nothing else can change that. So has it being more use-wise, or having more of a purpose and more of a, I would say even a higher position in terms of a metal of use than gold, it hasn't necessarily gave it a higher price. I think the metal getting absolutely crazy right now. Rhodium, if I'm not mistaken, it's just touched its all-time highs again. Don't hold me to that, but that has a lot less uses than silver and is only used in one industry, I believe, the automotive. Don't hold me to that once again, but still that seems to be off on its ways. So I think it having more or less uses doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make it of more worth. So I would easily say for it having more uses, it doesn't equal to it being more valuable. So no, that's going to be one that helps me come to my own mindset when I'm thinking about that. So having more uses doesn't necessarily mean it's worth more. So next, I would say again in silver's favor would be that it has more believers that ain't in the 1%, or even upper class. I'm not going to say more lower class believers, but it has more people, and they are the masses in the end of the day, because it's and more things lead towards that, more because a lot of information about it is brought to the front. I would say Free Figures have done a fantastic job on platforms like YouTube. We all know who the pundits are. That's brought a lot of people forward. It's a lot more affordable, so a lot of people don't really need to break the bank to get into it. And it's the opportunity there that you can see that, I can get into this metal and it doesn't cost the earth to get involved in. So it most definitely has a lot more believers and strong believers that really want it to do well. And is that good or a bad thing? Who knows? It does lead to a lot more passionate people when speaking in defense or against. I've noticed a lot more, negative passion, some would say, especially a lot of hardcore believers in silver. And, I will say everybody just be nice in the comment section, whether it's worked out for you or it hasn't worked out for you. There's no need to be so passionate. It's not good to be passionate or that passionate about anything in life. If somebody a grown person wants to make a mistake that you believe is a big, massive mistake, and it's going to be a rude awakening, and leave them be. All you can do is give a polite, hey, here's a heads up, here's what I've found as to why I don't think it's the one. There's no need to get that passionate and start giving out silver bullets and everything. But nevertheless, once again, it has more not 1% or high class believers, but it doesn't equate to it being more valuable anytime soon. But that could play a massive role if something bad was to happen. because it's already, you could technically call it the people's metal. It's already something that people not of high wealth stack and have a lot of faith in. And having faith in something or high belief in something, as we've seen, can work wonders for something. So, but as it stands, it hasn't put it in a better position to be worth more than gold. So having more believers doesn't necessarily mean it has more wealth or more potential. So next, I would say in silver's favor, once again, as I'm picking up the same coin each time, is that it has the underdog status. So, that's competition thought to have little chance. So, whether you like it or not, it's the underdog. If you're not the boy on top or the woman on top, if you're not on top, then you get that status. You have to have potential or show signs of being able to topple the main man. And the main man, once again, as we all know, is this here. So when you look at that and then you take a lot, it's very easy to see why a lot of people can, believe that it's going to go on to do fantastic things and appreciate, because once you look at silver's resume, it's got a lot going for it. You could ask anybody really, well, look, here's what it does. It does this, that. And when you think of something of worth or somebody of worth, the more titles, you could say, even like a normal person, more degrees or more they're tradesmen, more skills they have under their belt, the more of worth they are. Well, that same goes for silver. So if you're putting them up against one another in some type of a boxing match, it has more talents, has more skills, it has more, under its back belt than gold has. Gold also plays as much a role, or not as much a role, but a big role as silver, but silver is more, in the forefront there. But having the underdog status still does not give silver the edge to be worth more than gold. Will it at a later date? Who knows? But it most definitely is the underdog. And so I would say a next one would be maybe against silver here. Now let me know, guys. So I've done a bit of looking into this and I came to this conclusion, but at no point in history has silver ever held a higher position than gold. From what I saw, there's been times where it's been most definitely used. Both have been used as currency back in the days. And gold was held and silver was used. So, but still gold was coveted. Gold was, put to the side and silver was put out there. And a lot of the funny business started happening with gold. But at no time in history has silver ever been worth more than gold. But then you could easily say, we've got the whole pay a Roman dude an ounce and he goes out and has a night on the town and has the time of his life. But times were different then than they are now. We have electricity now, stuff that demands a lot of silver. We have a whole way of living that demands a lot more silver now. So if it ever was going to really be able to topple gold or maybe edge forward, and I'm speaking in silver's favor here, you would think it would be in a time, i.e. what we are now technologically, spaceships, hovercrafts and all of that stuff. You'd think it would be in a time where we need it more than ever. Although it wasn't needed as much back then, for lighting, you damn near had a lantern. Your car was a donkey or a cow or something like that. So it wasn't being used as much. So a lot of times when people say, back in the Roman days, you need to take into account also that we didn't have the way of life we have now in terms of everything around us. So it's promising because, in today's world, we're only getting more and more advanced unless we're held back from going up into the skies further and further. So it's very promising that if it ever was going to happen, it would happen within the next 200-300 years or, this century. Maybe everybody watching this may be alive when it does take that status. But currently, with as much promise as it has, it's not worth more than gold. So next, I would say I would go out there now and say unless it does these things, and I'm really going out there, and you got to take all into account. So let me know how out there you're willing to go. But unless silver, I would say, can do these things I'm about to mention, or has a status, then I can't see it ever being worth more than gold. So first, it's going to be unless silver has the ability to take out supernatural beings. Yes, I didn't say that. So unless you can get this and headshot, Dracula, and all other types of supernatural beings, zombies, and wherever it may be, unless silver does hold that position. There's no smoke without fire. I'm not saying I'm a believer in one of these things, but I've heard wackier stories out there. Unless this stuff really can do that, because if it can, and you can make yourself some silver bullets and start running down werewolves and handling business like John Wayne, then it's going to hold a real high position, especially if gold's not able to do that, copper or no other bullets, I doubt normal bullets will be able to do that. Then you're onto a winner. It's most definitely going to be worth a lot more than gold, but when are we going to see those days and times? So, and another one would be, unless we see peak silver, or peak silver is true. Peak silver is a lot like peak oil, in that we're running low and resources ain't there, and it's going to be very hard to mine, or above ground and below ground. Unless this turns out to be true, let's stop with all the ooh and ah and can it be, and we're just not mining enough, it's not costing or not cost effective. If that turns out to be the case and we really are low, I would have thought we would have been able to find out by now with such large industries depending on it. I can't see that really being the case, or would have more concrete evidence out there in public. It's not something they've really suppressed. Then also I couldn't really see it being worth more than gold anytime soon. So those would be the extreme far out there scenarios where I would definitely see silver, and I would confidently say, hey, listen, you can one-shot Dracula with this stuff, and your local werewolves are gonna, and the zombies, no problem, get these silver bullets and it's job done. Then you're definitely looking at something that's now going to take the position ahead of gold. And if it's not peak, so if it's not rare, if it's not something, I don't think, well, which precious metal, we deal with the meteorite, so which precious metal does currently hold that status of being extremely rare, and they want to get it but can't get it, and the likes of, none to the best of my knowledge, but let me down below in the comments. But I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. So let me know what you think. Can you, or do you think silver can ever be worth more than gold? So let me know how wacky out there your opinions are, and let me know how serious they may be. But either one or the other, please do let me know. So hey, I love it, guys. Let me know what you think about this video. Please do go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll catch you guys on the rebound.